what you see before you are what I'd like to call unfortunate cryptids. I was going to call them pathetic cryptids, but I think we're going to go with unfortunate because some of them are pretty well known, and some of them I really didn't know what I was looking at. And so I had a friend help me. Thank you, friend, for, translating these. And then I put together a little segment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these and I'm going to rate them from most pathetic to least pathetic. So I'm going to give them a number score. If they get a 10, they're the most pathetic cryptid. But if they get like a 2, it means that they're pretty good. That's probably opposite, but that's all right. Don't worry about it. All right, so which one are we going to do first, chat? Let's check out the Flatwoods monster. Now, which one is the Flatwoods monster? I'll show you which one it is. That perfect oval that I just drew there. You know what? It's so perfect, I'm going to do that again. Watch this. Perfect oval. So that's the Flatwoods monster, and what I've learned... Okay, so this is actually a microfiber cloth that was given to me in the Japanese snacks care package, which I recorded but didn't edit yet. So you will see me look at this for the first time in like a couple weeks or a month whenever I end up editing that. So... thank you, Butter from Japan, for sending me this weird cryptid microfiber cloth. And I thought what was funny here was some of these are just drawn from a Wikipedia image, and they're just funny. So let's take a look at this funny one. This is the Flatwoods monster. Right here. So... it is, West Virginia folklore. It's a creature reported to have been sighted in the town of Flatwoods in Braxton County, West Virginia, on September 12, 1952, after a bright light crossed the night sky. 50 years later, investigators suggested that the light was a meteor, and the creature was a barn owl perched in the tree, with shadows making it appear to be a large humanoid. That's a shame. It seems here, okay, so two brothers saw this bright object, and then they were looking, there's a property, local farmer G. Bailey Fisher, and they told their story. That's basically what happened. So the group, they went to go investigate, they got to the top of a hill, they saw a pulsing red light, and one of the lads aimed their flashlight and they saw a man-like figure with a round red face surrounded by pointed hood-like shape. Very interesting. So we have all that. And also, another one described it as having small claw-like hands. Wow. A head that resembled the ace of spades and clothing like folds. The figure made a hissing sound and glided toward the group. Lemon screamed and dropped his flashlight, causing the group to run away. It's an owl. The group said they had smelled a pungent mist, and some later said they were nauseated. So they had the sheriff investigate this, and they saw, heard, and smelled nothing. However, they discovered skid marks. Now listen, that's not what you think it is. Wait, and an odd gummy deposit? Okay, it is the type of skid marks you're thinking. It seems here that they're saying it was evidence of a saucer landing. Yes, a saucer landing. Very nice. Go away, Jeff Goldblum. It doesn't sound anything like you. So this thing, apparently, this cryptid here, once it was reported, there were hundreds of calls from all around the country. Wow. Maybe they all saw the same exact thing. I don't know. But what's funny is, though, there's also, chat, a chair that they built in honor. This is the Flatwoods visitor chair. You have to sit your goofy ass down in this chair and think about what you've done. So that's the legacy of this West Virginia monster. Obviously, you know, the cryptid itself has inspired, like, you know, stuff in fiction like Fallout 76 and Everybody's Golf 4. Oh. Very interesting. Wow. So you know what? In terms of my review or rating of this monster, I'm going to give it like, I don't know, like a 3. Like a no. Hang on a minute. Wait. Let me. What's my scale? You know what? My scale sucks. But in terms of how pathetic it is, I'm going to change my scale. 1 is most pathetic. 10 is least pathetic. So, like 10 means that you're the best cryptid, right? If you get a 1, you suck. So we're going to do it like that because that's where my brain is naturally going. So rules are changing on the fly. This is better. All right. I'm going to give this thing a 3, maybe a 4. But the reason I say it's a 3 is because its legacy is just a chair. It didn't really do anything except hiss. Apparently there was a pungent stench. I mean, it could have been a barn owl. I don't know. I mean, the meteor thing sounds kind of cool, at least. Like, it probably had some cool... Like, the light behind it might have been cool. So maybe that's a 4, because it could have looked neat. But leaving skid marks, that's like minus a point. You know what I mean? Like gooey substances on the ground, that's like, I don't know. Don't forget Majora's Mask. Well, now that you say that, that definitely checks out. Interesting. So, I didn't even think about this, but yes, the aliens in Majora's Mask, which kind of scared the shit out of me a little bit as a kid, were apparently based on the Flatwoods monster. So, in terms of its legacy, Majora's Mask is a hugely important game in my life, and therefore, I am going to give this cryptid a 4. So it's still not great, but I'm going to give it a 4, because here's the thing, chat. Legacy is not going to count for a ton tonight in this segment, because legacy is one thing, but we add to the legacy. You know what I mean? Like, the initial story is going to be most important. A good legacy can definitely bump a creature up a little bit, but I don't think that's enough to take this from a 3 to like a 6. So I'm going to give it a 4. Again, it's shit, maybe. It was smelly, maybe. No one saw anything, so it's just a chair now. So anyway, that's a 4. All right, next. We have the, let me see if I can pronounce this. The, Tsuchinoko. So what is the Tsuchinoko, chat? You may wonder. Where is the Tsuchinoko? Well, I'll show you. On this chart here, we've got this fellow right here. And it is prevalent in, it's a snake-like being, and it's prevalent in western Japan, including Kansai and Shikoku. The creature is known as Bachi Hebi. I'm saying that wrong, in northeastern Japan. So these things are described as being 30 to 80 centimeters in length, similar in appearance to a snake, but with a central girth that is much wider than the head or tail. It's having fangs and venom similar to that of a viper. Venom is interesting. Some accounts also describe the Tsuchinoko as being able to jump up 1 meter, followed by a second jump while still in the air. It can double jump? Second jump while still in the air. How? Well, I guess it's a cryptid after all. Hang on, let me do the whiteboard over. Let's try this a little bit different here. Watch that. Bam. Okay, so according to the legend, some Tsuchinoko have the ability to speak and a propensity for lying. They're also said to have a taste for alcohol. Legend records that it will sometimes swallow its own tail so that it can roll like a wheel, similarly to a hoop snake of American legend. So there's not a ton here, but, I mean, in the late 1980s, there were a number of sightings across Japan, primarily in the village of Shimokitayama in Nara Prefecture. In 1988, a member of the village launched an expedition to find the creature, which offered 1 million yen for its live capture. So there's about 200 people that joined until the beginning of the Japanese asset price bubble collapse in 1990. So there was nothing. So what's funny about this, though, is, again, this microfiber cloth is very, very funny to me because you can see the artist, you know, kind of just... That's what we have on Wikipedia. And if you go to Google and you do a quick look, I mean, there's a number. I mean, there's apparently one in Metal Gear Solid 3, I'm noticing. There's some Pokemon that seem to be based on it a little bit. But, yeah, some of the art, this one's not too bad, but some of the art is very, very funny to me. He's also a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Okay, so, all right, let me think about this for a minute. So the Tsuchinoko, you got a cute Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's in Metal Gear Solid 3. Legacy is decent. It's not a lot, but it's stuff I like, and this is my list. Goddammit! So I'm gonna give it an extra point, or maybe, yeah, I'll give it 1 extra point for Legacy. Maybe 2. As a creature, it's venomous. That's kind of cool. It can talk, but it mostly lies. So, you know, +1 for talking, -1 for lying. How dare you? Yeah, the double jump is amazing. The venom is amazing. It's flat. I mean, it's not really particularly threatening. I feel like you could kind of just, like, kick it. I don't know. It doesn't seem... And no one found it. They looked for it. There's like 200 people, like, scouring the country. Maybe not. But, yeah, there's not... You know, I'm not really sure how I feel about this. So, it's a rare enemy in Aria of Sorrow. That doesn't increase the pointage, I'm sorry to say. I'm going to give this one... It's not that pathetic, but it's pretty pathetic. I'm going to give it a 4 again. I cannot, in good conscience, give it higher than a 4. Because it doesn't do very much. I mean, the double jump is... You know what? I'll give it a 5 for the double jump. Because I've never heard of a real-life thing having a double jump. And that's really cool. So I'm going to give it a 5. Alright. People don't like my ratings. These are my ratings, not yours. You make your own list. Alright. I have all the ratings. We'll get to them later. So next is one called Jenny Hanover. I'm not kidding, by the way. Jenny Hanover. Do we have any chat members who are named Jenny Hanover? It's very possible. And I'll show you this one. This one is probably... I think this one's pretty fucking funny. But... Here. Let me see where you are. Okay, it's this one, chat. It's this one. This one is really funny to me. It's the carcass of a ray or a skate that has been modified by hand and then dried, resulting in a mummified specimen intended to resemble a fanciful fictional creature, such as a demon or a dragon. These practices date back to the 16th century when these specimens were often sold as curiosities to sailors and collectors. Yeah. So I'll show you what one actually looks like here, chat. There it is. There's Jenny. There she is. It's actually disgusting. It's like weirdly cute disgusting, but it reminds me of a small xenomorph. Like, this is definitely some form of xenomorph before it turns into like a an adult. But, so one suggestion for the origin of the term was the French phrase "Joint d'Anvers," youth of Antwerp. I'm saying that completely wrong. It's Joint d'Anvers. Joint d'Anvers. I don't know how to say it. British sailors cockneyed this description into the personal name Jenny Hanover. They have been created to look like various mythical creatures, including devils, angels, and dragons. Some writers have suggested the sea monk may have been a Jenny Hanover. So, the earliest known picture of one appeared in Conrad Gesner's Historia Animalium, Volume 4 in 1558. And Gesner even warned that these were merely disfigured rays, and they should not be believed to be miniature dragons or monsters, which was a popular misconception at the time. In Veracruz, Jenny Hanovers are considered to have magical powers that are employed by curanderos in their rituals. I don't know how to say that either, sorry. The tradition is similar to the one in Japan, where fake taxidermy, ninjo, I think is how you say that, were produced and kept in temples. I'm going to be saying a lot of stuff wrong, but here you go. Here's another one. Here are a couple more. It's Jenny on the block. Yeah. There she is. Looking good, J-Lo. She responded to me in the form of the music. Did you hear that? Good timing. Okay. So, I'm gonna rate this one a 3. Because it's pretty pathetic. It's just I don't know what magical powers it was purported to have. There's not really much legacy here. I mean, listen, the cool thing is, we have pictures of what the thing looks like. You know, like, but it is a dried, like, ray. It's so weird. Here's the popular culture stuff. The Jenny Hanover and Jenny Hanover 2 are airships in Mortal Engines Quartet. So it's a series of novels. The Bermuda Depths, a 1978 fantasy film, has them. Well, it just has a character called Jenny Hanover. In 2022, video game Splatoon 3, a Jenny Hanover is available as a purchasable locker decoration under the name Mysterious Dried Thing. And it's also in the tabletop role-playing game Pathfinder. A Hanover is a type of malevolent gremlin. So, legacy points are maybe, you know, there's a couple things, but I think it's very, people knew that this thing was fake right away. So, I'm going to give it a very low rating because it kind of sucks. I'm going to give it a 3, and I'm sticking by it. It's just a dried piece of flotsam. Like, and people were like, it doesn't talk, it doesn't double jump. It's just, like, I don't know. It's weird, and it's very fake, and I don't... Listen, maybe there's a mystique behind something where I can believe, even momentarily, that some of this stuff is real. And I get none of that from Jenny Hanover, so you get a 3. Very disappointing creature. So next we have the Kappa. But hang on, a different kind of Kappa. The mummy variant of the Kappa. Right there. That's right. So let's see, what do we have here? Now this one... A purported Kappa mummy can be seen at a sake brewery in the town of Imari, Japan. It was discovered inside a box that was found hidden in a ceiling when replacing the roof over 50 years ago. Many Kappa mummies have been crafted by using different animal parts ranging from monkeys to stingrays. So here's the image of that. So that's pretty much, as you can see, drawn exactly from this one image. I'm not really getting a lot of good information on this because I'm seeing a lot of just kappas, regular like water kappas. Destroy it. I don't like it. Personally, I don't like it, but I don't know if I should judge this based on the folklore or whatever. I'm not really sure. I don't have enough information. Mummies of Japan. Hang on, let me check this website out real quick. There's some weird ones on this website. Holy shit. Kappa mummy. Like mermaid mummies, many Kappa river imp mummies are thought to have been crafted by the Edo period artists using animals from monkeys to owls and stingrays. Okay. So, I mean, that also then encompasses the Kappa, which I won't go into too much detail, but it's a pretty famous one. And they're like reptiloid creatures, and they can become harmful. They're like river creatures. So, very interesting traditional Japanese folklore creature, which includes lots of there's a ton of information on these. They like cucumbers. Accounts depict them as green, human-like beings with webbed hands and feet, turtle-like carapaces on their backs, a depression on their head. Oh, like James. Called a dish, retains water, and if this is damaged or its liquid is lost, either by spilling or drying up, a kappa becomes severely weakened. They love cucumbers and engage in sumo wrestling. They are often accused of assaulting humans in water and removing a mythical organ called the shirikodama from their victim's anus. Yep. So here's some Kappa. You can see a variety of them. And that's a book just illustrating a bunch of them. There's an abundance of information about this cryptid. And even though they sometimes seem menacing, apparently they can behave amicably towards humans as well. Their actions range from comparatively minor misdemeanors, such as looking up women's kimono if they venture too near the water, to outright malevolence, such as drowning people and animals, kidnapping children, eating human flesh, and other terrible things. Wow. It's common for Kappa to befriend other yokai, and sometimes even people. Chat, I swear on their wiki, there is a section just called Cucumber. And it talks about how they love cucumber, and offerings of cucumber are made to them. Sometimes people would write out names of their family members on cucumbers and send them afloat into streams to mollify the Kappa and prevent the family from coming to harm in the streams. Wow. They've been blamed for drownings. They're very good wrestlers. They sometimes drink their victims' blood, eat livers, and they gain power by taking their mythical ball, the shirikodama, which is located inside their anus. Which, oh god. Defeating the Kappa. Chat, you're not going to believe this, if you didn't already know this. Defense against Kappa, repelling with flatulence. Oh my god. This is art from Tsuchinoko Yoshitoshi. Absolutely amazing. Apparently, you can also defeat them with kindness. And the Kappa will spill the water on their dish. And, because they bow and then they lose the water on their head. If a person refills it, the Kappa will serve that person for all eternity. Man. And obviously, they're in pop culture. They're all over the goddamn place. I mean, Kappas are incredibly prevalent. We're talking about a mummified Kappa, though. This particular one, which was included on this here microfiber cloth, and I don't know why. So, you know, but I mean, look, listen, Resident Evil Village. There's Pokemon is slightly based on the Golduck in particular. Zora from Zelda, Animal Crossing references, obviously Captain. Let's see here. We got stuff for Inuyasha. There is tons of anime. Ninja Turtles 3. So I mean, listen. I'm gonna rank the Kappa. The Kappa itself, I'm gonna give like a 9 or an 8. I'm gonna stick with, you know what? I'm gonna give it an 8, just because they seem they're a little pathetic. Maybe they even get a 7. Here's why: if you are kind and you bow, they bow and they lose the water in their head. And you can also fart on them and they leave. That's pathetic. Like, they're trying to steal the thing inside your butt and then you fart on them and then they fuck off. That's pretty pathetic. So you know what? Maybe I'm thinking about it. Maybe Kappas get bumped down to the... You know what? 7. Here's why I'm going to give them a 7. Because they're iconic. Their design is cool. They're also fucked up. If they can actually harm you, they seem pretty fucked up. There's tons of lore and legends and art, and I think they're very interesting creatures. And they do some very terrible things, but also they could serve you for eternity. So that bumps up their score. They have a huge legacy, but you can fart on them. So I don't know how I feel about them overall, but my rating will be a 7. Okay. This mummy, however, is shit. It was found in some attic? What is going on here? So it's an interesting image, but the fact that people are saying it might be combined with a number of, like, you know, different parts. I mean, listen, I respect the Kappa itself, but this mummy sucks. So I'm gonna give it a 5. Because again, this is a very specific thing. Like, for some reason, on this here microfiber cloth, they have the mummy of the Kappa. Not the actual Kappa, but this very specific mummy, which was found in the ceiling somewhere in a sake brewery. So I think the only reason I'm giving it a 5 is because the Kappa itself is a mighty creature and is funny. But this mummy kind of just feels like one very specific piece of the puzzle and unfortunately drops the ball for me. So I give it a 5. And I'm going to say final answer. Living Kappas, maybe a 7. This mummy Kappa, 5. And by the way, if these ratings don't make any sense, you're welcome. Okay, next is... Cagon. This one's very, very interesting, and I'll highlight this one for you. Yeah, it's the one that looks like puke. It's a puddle of puke or poop. And this is Cagon. A cryptid first spotted by a Japanese fishing ship, 28th Konpira Maru Nihongo, in 1974, off Littleton, New Zealand. The name Cagon literally means hippo monster in the Japanese language. The naming was said to be on impulse. So it's got very large eyes and nostrils, a large head measuring 1.5 meters in height from under the nostrils to the top of the head. Coloration is grayish in general. It resembles umibozu, which is a different thing. So they witnessed it basically off the Littleton Peninsula around 7 p.m. All members, by the way, like a lot of different people witnessed this thing. And it was pretty large. And then it dived back in the water. So the captain sketched the animal. This is the captain's sketch. So You know, again, you can see the artists just did what they could. So, here we go. It says here, some consider that this animal may belong to the same species as the large Antarctic sea mammal. Cagon was initially speculated as a misidentification of pinnipeds, most likely walruses. However, the latter was denied as the species only inhabits the Arctic waters of northern hemisphere. Some indicate the creature is a remnant descendant of Demustolidae. I don't know what that is either. The description of the creature actually fit to several species of pinnipeds such as leopard seal and southern elephant seal. Especially the southern elephant seal, the largest of living pinnipeds reaching 5 to 6.5 meters in length. It could be a possible candidate. So, around the globe there are many similar cases including possible misidentifications of elephant seals. So it does happen. And this is like on the Cryptid wiki, so there's a ton of weird things here. Like the bunyip. This is also a potential misidentification. But, I like the bunyip. Bunyip's cool. This thing looks like a puke monster. That's a real photo, by the way. Totally real, 100% real. Guaranteed. Real photo. There's also this illustration. And then someone on the wiki also posted this, which I thought was pretty funny. So, ranking. The art is kind of funny to me. In fact, that's a pretty good one. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that I like the design because it looks like poop or puke. There's no legacy. It doesn't seem to do anything. It was only spotted one time. It was a very possible misidentification. In terms of how pathetic it is, man, I'm gonna go down to a 2. This fucking thing sucks. However, it's just very unfortunate and kind of pathetic based on this image. And we know nothing about it, and it's only been seen that one time. However, it's kind of funny, and I like it. So it pains me to give it a 2. But it's pretty pathetic. The only thing that's kind of maybe more of a 3 than a 2 is that it's large, but we don't even know for sure if that's real. He would rate you a 2 out of 10. Well, I'm real. Okay. The Loch Ness Monster. So Nessie. This one is easy. I don't really need to do very much here. So I'm not gonna, perfect square, what do you know? I'm not gonna do too much on Nessie because we all know about the Loch Ness Monster. You know, it's a mythical Scottish creature. This image it's based on is very famous and also very fake. So, I think it's kind of funny that this microfiber cloth has this tiny little, like, this was just a very specifically fake photo. So, yeah. But it's basically a dinosaur type creature. And there's so many studies. Evidence of its existence is anecdotal, with a number of disputed photographs and sonar readings. So, you know, the scientific community explains alleged sightings of the Loch Ness Monster as hoaxes, wishful thinking, and misidentification of mundane objects. So, some of the hoaxes, I mean, this page is huge. You know what I mean? You could go through this for hours. Did you hear the theory that scientists perpetuated the myth of Nessie in order to get funding to map the loch? It's a fantastic idea. So here's Loch Ness. Imagine living... First of all, I would love to visit this. This just looks really cool. But imagine living there and knowing there's a dinosaur. There's sonar studies. And again, it's way too much for me to read right now, chat. But there's potential misidentifications of eels, an elephant, Greenland shark, a Wells catfish. There's otters in the loch. There could be misidentifications of boat wakes, trees, optical effects, seismic gas. Probably just these two dudes, honestly. It's got to be them. It's not that far. Thanks, Desert. It's not that far from England and Stonehenge and all that. But there are a number of hoaxes. Look at this. This is cool, right? It's a model used for the 5 TV program Loch Ness Monster, The Ultimate Experiment. So they constructed an animatronic of a plesiosaur, calling it Lucy. Despite setbacks, including Lucy falling to the bottom of the loch, about 600 sightings were reported where she was placed. I kind of want to watch that. So... yeah, I mean, look at this. There's a whole museum of Nessie. Well, okay. Let's recap. So you would imagine that the Loch Ness Monster here would... Let's go based on how legendary this creature is. It's probably one of the first cryptids I was ever aware of, along with Bigfoot. My dad had a book that was just like weird UFO and paranormal stuff with lots of pictures, really good art. I want to find that book again one day. And I remember going through it and reading about Atlantis and the Loch Ness Monster and stuff, and it was very interesting. But even then, I was still kind of skeptical. But it didn't matter because there's potentially a dinosaur living in real life right now. Obviously, you've seen a million movies and games and TV shows, all of it. Reference Nessie. I mean, even Mario 64's got one. So, legacy is very firmly secure. The Police, the band, not the real police, reference the Loch Ness Monster in one of their songs, Synchronicity 2. I like the Loch Ness Monster. That image is bullshit. That is a very fake image. And it's a small little thing. And that's the art that was chosen here. However, in terms of pathetic, I'm going to say Nessie gets an 8. No, you know what? Nessie gets a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 because it's a dinosaur and because it's cool and because people have gone mental looking for this thing for years. The amount of money that has been blown away, thrown into the loch, is astounding. The amount of TV shows, the amount of everything. What is this ranking system? It's bad is what it is. I love the Loch Ness Monster, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's a good one. Is it real? No. But if it was, I wouldn't want to be in there with it. And also, in terms of its patheticism, if it's as big as people say it is, it's pretty scary. And if it's real, it does a really good job at being stealthy. So you wouldn't even know if that thing came up behind you and decided to, like, chomp your bits. So, Nessie, you get a 9 out of 10. That's mental. Next is Bigfoot, who once again needs no introduction. But this is a pretty famously, the photo here, the art is based on this photo. And that photo, is from a video, and it's pretty... I mean, wasn't this confirmed fake? Talk about the guy who got fucked by a Bigfoot. The shittiest cryptid. Oh, no, I don't know about that. Oh, man. All right, listen. I'm not going to go into the Bigfoot wiki that much, but I will show you some images of a variety of things. I'm pretty sure that video was very clearly confirmed to be fake. Like they admitted it. This is probably the only other wiki page that rivals, surpasses even. I'm looking at the video there, and it's not really that interesting. Here's a black bear standing upright, which is a potential explanation. So in terms of just popularity online and in TV and subculture, pop culture, everything, Bigfoot rivals Nessie as probably, aside from aliens, like the single most popular cryptid. Again, though, the image that was used here is straight up from that video, which I think is pretty confirmed to be fake. But again, don't quote me on that. Wait a minute. Don't quote me on saying Bigfoot is fake. What the fuck am I talking about? Of course he's real. I don't know everything there is to know about Bigfoot, and honestly, I kind of find Bigfoot to be one of the lesser interesting cryptids, because it's just a big monkey man. I know there's more to it than that, and I believe there could be giant creatures that walk upright, maybe. It's not really a terrible stretch that the evolutionary kind of thing didn't really happen for them, and maybe they lived deep in the woods somewhere, but the amount of squatching shows. There are so many squatching TV shows and documentaries by now, and books, that if we haven't found Squatch by now, I'm not feeling like we're going to find Squatch. There's a really cool comic where Han Solo and Chewbacca crash land on Earth after going through like a time portal. Han Solo dies, and Chewbacca becomes Bigfoot, only to be found by Indiana Jones in the 30s. That is awesome. So, someone said that's because Squatch is multidimensional. Sure he is, honey. Anyway, I think Squatch is very, very popular, and I think that is a lot of points. Gigantopithecus, sure. Vinny, I don't think Nessie is that popular compared to Squatch. Maybe the Mothman is more popular. So, has Gigantopithecus remained upon this planet to be discovered by people drinking beer in the woods? That is the real question. Well, my personal opinion is I don't watch Bigfoot shows. I'm not that interested in the creature. And the legacy is obviously massive. But he's not my favorite. He's not pathetic, though, because if he's a giant ape, if he's that tall and that powerful, you know, that double jump thing could not compare to Bigfoot. So, definitely not pathetic. This is my rankings, though, so I'm going to have to give it... I'm going to give it an 8. Because it rhymes with ape. And that's my ranking of Bigfoot. Not pathetic. Is legendary, but I just don't find him that interesting, personally. Can Bigfoot jump? He can triple jump. Nessie solos. Well, Nessie's doing pretty good right now, but also, you never know. There could be more. I will say, though, again, part of the list here is how I feel about these creatures. And I do think Bigfoot is very powerful and can fuck up a snake any day of the week. But if Nessie were to climb out of that lake and fight Bigfoot, I think Nessie would win. Personally. Alright. The Loveland's frogman. Oh, man. Oh, this is great. Okay, you're probably wondering, Vinny, which one could be the frogman? Well, it's that one. In Ohio folklore... It's Ohio. Ohio folklore, the Loveland frog is a legendary humanoid... let's not use legendary. Humanoid frog described as standing roughly 4 feet tall and spotted in Loveland, Ohio, 1972. The Loveland frog legend gained renewed attention when a Loveland police officer reported to a colleague that he had seen an animal consistent with the description of the frogman. After a reported sighting in 2016, the second officer called a news station to report that he had shot and killed the same creature some weeks after 1972 and identified it as a large iguana that was missing its tail. So, there's a professor that compared it to Paul Bunyan, saying that the stories about it have been passed down for several decades, and that sighting reports seem to come in predictable cycles. So I've seen this creature before, and I think it's very funny. Here, let me show you an artist's rendition of the Loveland frogman. Yes! I like this dude. So that's great. According to various legends, the creature was first sighted by a businessman or traveling salesman driving along an unnamed road late at night in 1955. Vinny, you said it had the perfect suck height last time you saw it. I didn't say that. In one story, the driver was heading out of the Branch Hill neighborhood when he spotted 3 figures that stood erect on their hind legs along the side of the road, each 3 to 4 feet tall. Leathery skin and frog faces. Wow. So there's some police reports and, you know, maybe 50 to 75 pounds. Animal crouching like a frog. 2 weeks after the incident, a second police officer reported seeing an unidentified animal crouched along the road in the same vicinity as Shocky's sighting. Matthew shot the animal, recovered the body, and put it in his trunk, and then said it was a large iguana. So, you know, Matthews recounted the incident to an author of a book about urban legends, but says the author omitted the part that confirmed that the creature was an iguana rather than a frogman. Of course he omitted that part. Why would you ever say it was an iguana in your book about cryptids and creatures and urban legends? It's a frogman. Of course it is. The art here is wonderful, by the way. But yeah, there's some stuff. The Man from Primrose Lane features a version of this frog. In 2024, a horror found footage film directed by Anthony Cousins, Frogman, was released. Really? You say there is a movie? Also, wasn't this in a Castlevania game? The Frogman? Well, there's Merman, but no, this, I mean, like, the Aria of Sorrow and Dawn of Sorrow games have, like, cryptids in them. Do you see what's happening here? Look at the next video up. You can see where the Frogman is based on the timeline. Really? That they did the thing, but Frogman? Really? Okay. I don't think I'm going to be checking that out. There's an upcoming indie game called Loveland that is based on the Frogman. The demo is fantastic. What do you mean? Loveland game. Are you serious? There's a lot happening recently. Why is this frog becoming so popular lately? It's fantastic, you say. You know what? I'll just play this at some point. I'll hold on to that. I'm not going to spoil it for myself. I'll just play it. Chat, I love the Frogman because he's a silly guy and he's got a movie about him and a game about him. So he's got a little bit of a legacy. He's cute. He's probably an iguana. I don't know if he has any superpowers. Like, does he spit? Does he suck? Does he... What does he do? Does he double jump? I don't know. I don't know much about him. I love this frog, but this is my ranking system that's convoluted and makes no sense. So I'm going to give it, in terms of how pathetic it is, I'm going to give it a 5. Because I don't see a frog winning in a fight against Bigfoot or against the Mothman. Maybe it could win in a fight against A Kappa? No, no, I don't think even the Kappa wouldn't defeat it. In my heart, this frog is a 10, but on paper, the frog is a 5. I'm sorry, chat. Artist's depiction of the creature. Oh, they just took the artist's depiction from Wikipedia and turned it into a game. Oh, it's a massive lad. It's like perfect suck height, though. I didn't say that. I didn't fucking say that. When did that said? When did that said? You tell me. That's crazy how you can do that these days. Anyway, let's see. Mothman is next. Mothman is another one that I don't really need to spend too much time on because this is a very, very popular one. There's a movie with Richard Gere and a gerbil about the Mothman. There's a lot of lore. There's a whole town that's devoted to the Mothman. So I feel pretty confident in saying, you know, that this dude is cool. Now, I want to know about its powers. So it's another West Virginia. What happens in West Virginia that there's so many freaking humanoid creatures and weird cryptids? I was first seen in 1966. And man-sized bird creature something. That was the title of the thing. Yeah, there's the Mothman Prophecies book. I tell you what, though. It's got a cool statue. That cannot be denied. There's a lot of art. I think there's a lot of people that want to copulate with the Mothman, which is a little disturbing. But, you know, we were born on this motherfuck of a planet, so I'm not surprised. There's festivals, there's books, there's TV shows, there's, you have a character in Watchmen called the Mothman. That's in Shin Megami Tensei. You know, Fallout 76, of course. Tons of stuff. Mothman is mental. So, apparently, it could be an alien, a supernatural manifestation, or previously unknown species. It can, influence your dreams, chat, including precognitions and premonitions of the collapsing Silver Bridge, UFO sightings, and visits from inhuman or threatening men in black. It can get into your mind. Wow. Could also be an owl. Like, you know, the barred owl again. Could be these guys. However, I don't know how strong the Mothman is. And I have multiple criteria about, you know, the Mothman. So here's the problem. Okay, chat. You know, we have legacy, and I have mystery criteria. So if I don't know all of the information, then I don't know how pathetic it is. But Mothman is going to get an 8 out of 10 from me. And here's why. Popular, dumpy, legendary, can fly, can get in your head, can influence your dreams, can tell you when the bridge collapses. However, I might be tempted to go down to a 7 because I think Bigfoot would fuck him up. Loses to a lamp. Bigfoot can't fly. All right, fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what then. I'll give it a tie with Bigfoot because I feel like Bigfoot and Mothman fighting would be good. So I'm going to go 8. I like Mothman. Very mainstream, you know, so if you're looking for underground cryptids, you probably want to go with the Frogman. But the art here is not as good as the Mothman that I've seen over the years. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen a lot of good Mothman And that art is just kind of, eh. You know, you could do, but look at this. Look how cool this is. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. There's a crusty JPEG. Let me tell you, it's got a whole ass statue. You got cool art like this. You know, so people love the Mothman. And this looks less man and more moth. So anyway, a moth goes into a podiatrist's office and says, "Doc, my life's in shambles. My son, Gregor Levidovich." Here's another one. So yeah, I'm going to say Mothman is alright. I'm giving it an 8. And probably can do some crazy stuff. Its powers seem very interesting. And I think he deserves that 8. Well done, Mothman. You earned that. The next is the Jackalope, which is a bunny. So, bunny. Mythical animal of North American folklore, described as a jackrabbit with antelope horns. Huh. There are many taxidermy mounts, including the original, of course. It's just a bunny with antlers. So, how about that? In the 30s, Douglas Herrick and his brother, hunters with taxidermy skills, popularized the American jackalope, grafting deer antlers onto jackrabbit carcass, selling the combination to a local hotel in Douglas, Wyoming. So they sold a lot of these things, it seems. And the jackalope has appeared in stories, poems, TV shows, games, mockumentary film. The Wyoming legislature has considered bills to make the jackalope the state's official mythological creature. Huh. The underlying legend of the jackalope, upon which the Wyoming taxidermists were building, may be related to similar stories in other cultures and other historical times. Researchers suggest that at least some of the tales of horned hares were inspired by sightings of rabbits infected with the Shope papilloma virus. It causes horn and antler-like tumors to grow in various places on the rabbit's head and body. Folklorists see the jackalope as one of a group of tall-tale animals known as fearsome critters, common to North American culture. So yeah, other such beasts in tall tales feature hodags, which is a what the fuck is this thing? Large bull carnivore kind of thing. Giant snakes, fur-bearing trout, and many other fur-bearing trout. Get the fuck out of here. Now make it sing. Some such stories lend themselves to comic hoaxing by entrepreneurs who seek attention or for their own personal and region's fortune. So here's a rabbit with that. I'm sorry to show you this if you're not interested, but yeah, that exact thing, the thing listed earlier. But there's a lot of information about this jackalope, including, here it is, a large statue in South Dakota. Musicians have used it, books, tons of taxidermied heads have been sold. The fearsome critters are essentially the original form of hazing, like spirit-level bubbles or blinker fluid. So yes, there's probably a bit more to this story, but rank the fur trout, that's a 1. If I had to rank the fur trout, it's literally a fucking 1. The jackalope is interesting, because the jackalope is very clearly fake. And apparently jackalope milk can cure any illness. Well, I think the legacy is going to carry the jackalope to a 4 because it's got a huge legacy. What I would say is that it seems pretty pathetic to me because it does have antler horns, which can be used in combat, like Worf, how he got his scars. But it's still just a rabbit at the end of the day, and I don't think it would do well versus other cryptids. And I mean, it's kind of dumb, honestly, but it's cute, and it has left a lasting legacy. And I think it's kind of funny that people are scamming people with jackalopes. So I got to give it a 4. I don't think it's particularly impressive, and it's kind of pathetic in a way, but there's something to it, and its legend endures, and it's a great name. That's the thing, the jackalope. Great name. So 4 it is. Next is the Jersey Devil, and I don't even need to look up which one this is because I know it a little too well. And let me tell you about the Jersey Devil. It is pathetic. Now, before I even research the Jersey Devil, look at its little legs. It is so easily kickable. You could kick this thing over with minimal force. You could break its legs and it would go, "Look at my hooves! Look at my hooves!" So here's the image it's based on. I mean, you can kind of see it. It's pretty much a direct interpretation. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. South Jersey, Philadelphia folklore. So this is the closest to where I live. This cryptid. This I could theoretically go hunting for Jersey Devils tonight. And it's also known as the Leeds Devil. It's a legendary creature said to inhabit the forests of the Pine Barrens in South Jersey. Now, bonus point for the Pine Barrens, which had one of the best episodes of The Sopranos, where Christopher and Paulie Walnuts are eating packets of ketchup to stay alive. Bonus points. The Pine Barrens are creepy and the name is great. It's often described as a flying biped with hooves, and there are many variations, and mostly just a kangaroo-like or wyvern-like creature. Horse or goat-like head, leathery bat wings, horns, you know how it is. It's a strange and elongated body and thick tail. So it moves quickly and it emits a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. According to popular folklore, the Jersey Devil originated with a Pine Barrens resident named Deborah Leeds, known as Mother Leeds. The legend states that Mother Leeds had 12 children, and after discovering she was pregnant for the 13th time, cursed the child in frustration and declared that the child would be the devil. On one stormy night, she went into labor with friends around her. It was born normally, but it transformed into a creature with hooves, a goat head, bat wings, and a forked tail. Growling and screaming, the child beat everyone with its tail before flying up the chimney and heading into the pines. Wow. In some versions of the tale, Mother Leeds was supposedly a witch, and the child's father was the devil himself. So it goes into detail about the Leeds family. There's a lot there. And apparently their family crest included some version of a wyvern, like a bat-winged dragon. Reported sightings, according to legend, while visiting Hanover Millworks to inspect his cannonballs, Commodore Stephen Decatur sighted a flying creature and fired a cannonball directly upon it with no effect. Brother of Napoleon also apparently saw it while hunting on his Bordentown estate in 1820. In 1840, it was blamed for killing livestock. 1925, a local farmer shot an unidentified animal as it attempted to steal his chickens, then photographed the corpse. And then apparently no one could identify it. It's a ton of sightings in 1909. It just keeps going and going and going. There's plenty of potential descriptions and then also explanations. This is a big page. A lot of hoaxes, too. There's a PS1 game based on it. In culture, there's the ice hockey team in Jersey. There is the Jersey Devil coaster on Six Flags Great Adventure, which I've been on, and it is a pretty good roller coaster. I gotta say, I liked it a lot. I was pleased with it. You get X-Files appearances, Jersey Devil video game, The Wolf Among Us, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Wow. What We Do in the Shadows. Fallout 76, of course. That's always going to be here, isn't it? Gravity Falls, Supernatural, and a ton more. So, I mean, Jersey Devil, as someone from Staten Island near New Jersey, I'm going to say I find it to be an interesting creature with a lot of lore. There's a lot of potential art of this strange creature. And I just think with its tiny little legs, you could easily best it. But if you're saying a cannonball, listen, if someone shot a cannonball at it and it survived the cannonball, then clearly, you know, it's strong. But, I mean, this image, this illustration is doing it no favors. I don't know all the lore. I don't know all of its powers. I don't know everything about the Jersey Devil, but I think it looks kind of pathetic. But as a frequenter of New Jersey, I kind of like it. And it does have a big legacy. And its origin story is kind of spooky. So I'm going to give the Jersey Devil a 6. But also with the caveat that it looks like it has tiny legs and will probably be beaten by most other cryptids if they so much as spit on it. Why do they need to fight? Why can't the funny, spooky animals just be little guys? You can make your own list. My cryptids are fighting. Alright, so here we go. So, the Dover demon. It was apparently reported in 1977, Dover, Massachusetts, 15 miles southwest of downtown Boston. 17-year-old William Bill Bartlett claimed that while driving on April 21st, 1977, he saw a creature about 4 feet tall, glowing orange eyes, no nose or mouth, watermelon-shaped head, on top of a broken stone wall on Farm Street, Dover, Massachusetts. Other 15-year-old John Baxter reported seeing a similar creature. And then also 15-year-old Abby Brabham claimed to have seen the creature the following night. Are they playing a prank? They drew sketches, and I, Bill Bartlett, swear on a stack of Bibles that I saw this creature, is what he wrote. There's not really much explanation here, but apparently they're saying it could be an alien. So here's the sketch by Bill Bartlett, which obviously this microfiber cloth also has borrowed. It may be a foal or a moose calf or an fucking owl. So, oh god! Damn, dude. It's nature. That's brutal. Fucking hell. I was just going to show the owl, and I enlarged the owl. Who knew? That's just on Wikipedia, so sorry about that. Damn. Well, it turns out the snowy owl could be this creature based on its size and plumage. And a lot of tonight's cryptids seem to be attributed to potentially being an owl. Vinny, do you actually believe in any of this crap? You shut your whore mouth, chat member. Let's see. In addition, the long spindly arms and fingers of the supposed creature could be the partially open wings and the splayed feathers at the wingtips of a snowy owl. So it looks like in popular culture, the Dover Demon was featured in an episode of American horror television show Lost Tapes. It's not really a whole lot else. It's a manga series and just a webcomic. Man, it could be an owl. I don't really know. I'm not really sure, other than it looks like a little alien fella. It doesn't look very strong, so I think it's neat. I'm just gonna say, I just think he's neat. If there had to be some kind of fight to the death, sorry, chat member, that your comfort characters are engaging in blood battles, but this is my list. And it doesn't look very powerful to me. So, in my opinion, this creature doesn't have much of a legacy. Doesn't really have much in the way of anything other than a couple sightings and a drawing. He's cute, kind of. I'm gonna give him a 3. Sorry. That's really all I can muster for this creature. Next is the Chupacabra. We're almost done. So we got the Chupacabra. This one is a pretty famous one. And again, there's a million renditions, including this one. Literally goat sucker. Oh, from Spanish, goat sucker. It's a legendary creature or cryptid, folklore, parts of the Americas. The name comes from the animal's purported vampirism. The Chupacabra is said to attack and drink the blood of livestock, including goats. Physical descriptions vary. Puerto Rico, Hispanic America, it's generally described as a heavy creature, reptilian and alien-like, roughly the size of a small bear, with a row of spines reaching from the neck to the base of the tail. While in the southwestern U.S., it's depicted as more dog-like. So initial sightings and accompanying descriptions first occurred in Puerto Rico in 1995. Wow, that's a lot more recent than I thought. The creature has since been reported as far north as Maine, of course, as far south as Chile, and even outside the Americas in countries like Russia and the Philippines. What? All reports are anecdotal and have been disregarded as uncorroborated or lacking evidence. Shocking. So, yeah, I mean, there are sheep. Many sheep were dead. You do get cool illustrations like this, though. Creature that looked like a chupacabra with spines on its back and all. The resemblance to the chupacabra was really impressive. Could this be a dinosaur human? A reptilian? A dinosaur? Could it be some form of branching evolutionary path of a lizard that became more human-like? Very interesting. Or a reptite from Chrono Trigger. So they suck blood, and yeah, they're reptile-like. I'm looking for more stuff here. Again, another very popular one. Tons of Wikipedia articles about puncture wounds on animal carcasses. And what if aliens are actually doing all this stuff, but they're pretending to be chupacabras to blame them? There's related legends, like the Ozark Howler, which apparently is a bear-like animal. The Sigbin shares the description. Tons of media. There's a lot of different stuff. TV shows, movies, Jackie Chan Adventures, of course, all that stuff. And games. So, I mean, really, the Chupacabra, I'm not getting a ton on the Chupacabra here about what it does other than suck blood. It is like a vampire thing, and it looks like a dog sometimes. Maybe it's like a... Man, there's so many different types of Chupacabras. Like, I'm seeing a million... So many variants. Maybe we need more names than just Chupacabra for this thing. Chat, I'm going to be honest, I didn't do all the research on the Chupacabra, but based on what I know on this very official, very real, very important ranking system of the Chupacabra, I just found a really good one. I'm going to give the Chupacabra, I guess, I'm going to give it a 5, because it's not really consistent. Sure, it's kind of legendary. The name is good. You hear about it. It's in a lot of media, you know, and apparently there's reports all over the place. I didn't realize it was 1995. That's very recent. But in my opinion, the Chupacabra doesn't do much. And it doesn't seem like there's any consistency. Like, it's like variant Chupacabras all over the damn place. So, what about the Chupacabra? All right, now we're getting somewhere. So 5. I'm going to say 5. I'm sure someone could probably dispute me on that and have some good informations otherwise, but right now I'm going to go 5. And again, I'm being generous because it's just so well known, but I think it would also be, you know, there's cryptids that could destroy this thing in the blood battle. Mono grande, oh boy. So the Mono grande is Spanish for large monkey. And it's a large monkey-like creature. It's been reported in South America. Such creatures are reportedly much larger than the commonly accepted New World monkeys. These accounts have received rather little publicity. So apparently they are rumored to build huts and capture women, eat flesh, apparently. There's no belief to the myth, though. Apparently, I don't know who's even saying this stuff, but yes. It's possible it was just an unknown great ape. And, well, okay, listen. Chat, something really funny is happening here. On the wiki page, there's this. Ape.jpg. You may notice something. Anyway, it seems like that image could have just been a spider monkey. Yeah. Yeah, no, that was the ape's tail. An American millionaire set up a reward of $50,000 for someone who could find the specimen, but nobody seems to have claimed the reward. So, yeah, it's a potential hoax, manipulated photograph, you know, all that fun stuff. There's a lot of criticism here. So it's weird that, like, this is such a... Like, this one particular microfiber cloth from Japan features all these cryptids, and you have such well-known ones, and then you have ones that I've never fucking heard of that have a very small or no Wikipedia article. It's just such a weird mismatch, like, mismatch? Mishmash, that's the word. But yes, potentially exaggerated reports of sightings of unusually large spider monkeys. So I'm gonna give this creature... I'm gonna give it a 5. I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4, and the only reason it's getting a 4 is because of physical prowess. Potentially. If real, it could probably do some damage. But it's got no legacy. The story sucks. I mean, its tail... I mean, its hog... I mean... Well, never mind that. I think, yeah, 4 is appropriate for me. I'm gonna give it a 4. And it probably doesn't even deserve a 4. I just think that it's very powerful and can destroy. Maybe. It kind of sucks. You know what? I'm going to give it a 3. I don't like it that much now in retrospect. You're using your human brain limitations to rate the unknown power of unknown creatures, though. And you're watching a guy who says speen for a living talk about cryptids. So, new Nessie. We got one more. New Nessie was a corpse caught by the Japanese fishing trawler Zoyomaru off the coast of New Zealand in 1977. What are they doing near there? Carcass's peculiar appearance resulted in speculation it might be the remains of a sea serpent or prehistoric plesiosaur. Excuse me, I got gas. Several scientists insisted it was not a fish, whale, or any other mammal. Analysis of amino acids in the corpse's muscle tissue later indicated it was most likely the carcass of a basking shark. Decomposing basking shark carcasses lose most of the lower head area and dorsal and caudal fins first, making them resemble a plesiosaur. But yes, the captain dumped it back into the ocean to not spoil the fish caught. But some photos and sketches were taken. Now, I'm going to show you this photo. Look away if you don't want to see potentially rotting corpse. But yeah. So again, the artist just drew that. It's just like weird skin. The foul-smelling, decomposing corpse reportedly weighed 1,800 kilograms and was about 10 meters long. So, yeah. It seemed to lack a dorsal fin, but one was visible from photographs. No internal organs remained as the chest cavity and gut had opened from decay. So then there's a bunch of explanations of a plesiosaur. Of course. You know, explanation. A basking shark. And it seems like it was referenced in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, the movie. And it was acknowledged as a plesiosaur. Unused opening for Lost World Jurassic Park was to feature a Japanese fishing boat accidentally hauling up the badly decomposed remains of Parasaurolophus. Tekken the Motion Picture included something like this. Carcass is mentioned in the credits of the 2014 movie Godzilla, the Lost Tapes show again, and a documentary. So, yeah, I mean, that's the last cryptid on this here microfiber cloth, so we're going to just end it here, but I'll give you the ranking. I think this is just rotting flesh, and therefore it is a 1. I hate it. So that's it. It's just literally, it's a 0, probably. What the fuck is it? It's nothing. It's garbage. It's just flesh. You can't even, like, identify it. Alright, so once again, chat. Here we go. Here's my reviews. Here's my rankings. Flatwoods monster. This one gets... This one, right here. So here, let me do it this way. This one I gave a 4. The Tsuchinoko I gave a 5, because it can double jump. Jenny Hanover is a 3, and probably doesn't even deserve a 3, honestly. The Kappa mummy, I gave a 5, and I was being generous because the Kappa itself is cool. The mummy sucks. And it seems to be a separate thing. The Cagon looks like poop or puke, and I gave that a 2 because I think it is very flimsy evidence and is funny to look at. Nessie is a 9, which I think has the highest ranking. Honestly, if aliens were here, just blanket aliens, like the gray alien, that would get a 10. That would only be a 10. Oh, wow, look at this. Well, hang on, I have a thing I'll show you that was made. Thank you for making that, that's cool. But we're going to continue along this path so I can explain what's going on here. So Bigfoot, I gave an 8. I think Bigfoot is not my favorite, but I respect it, and I respect its strength. The frog is a 5, because while a pathetic little creature, it is beautiful and cute. The Mothman, I gave an 8, mainly for legacy and importance. The Jackalope is a 4, because, again, cute mostly, and antlers are sharp, but also is a rabbit. Jackalope, no thank you. Sorry, Jersey Devil is a 6. Them legs look real weak, but as a Staten Islander, I respect it. And also, I think it's got some interesting... music, can you please go? Alright, cool. And it's got some interesting lore, and other art of it is cool. The Dover Demon, I gave a 3, because it looks like you could, like, probably flick it and it would die. Chupacabra, I gave a 5, and that's mostly legacy points. Monog Grande, I gave a 3, and only because it's kind of powerful. And, I gave it a 3. And new Nessie is literally just a pile of rotting flesh. I give that a 1, and it's bad. So here's the official list. The only thing, like I said, that would maybe potentially get that 10 is a gray alien. Just because I think it's not even a cryptid, really. I mean, I guess it is. Is it a creature? It's flesh. But that's mostly bias and legacy points, and also, they are weak, so I don't even know if it would get a 10 from me. Maybe there is no 10. The gray has technology. It has potential telepathy. But the gray has a very weak body. I know this for a fact. Trust me. And, at 0, you have, that fish with the fur. The fur trout. So there you go. Now I hope this list was interesting to you. I hope that you understand and you know. You've learned. I've learned. I thought this was going to be a half-hour long segment. This ended up being an hour and a half. That's going to change the entire course of this night. Yep. Now, one last thing I'll say is there are many more cryptids. There's an infinite amount, almost. And, there's so much that could be talked about here, and my rankings are complete nonsense. But maybe, in the future, I could do another segment on these fellas. I'm gonna take a break now. I'll be back with World of Horror.